Hey everyone and welcome to Forza Flashback episode 20 and the final one that we're going to be doing on Forza Motorsport 2. So I'm in the Ferrari in 4th place on this grid, and obviously there's quite a few other Ferraris and then the Peugeot at the front and an Audi at the back. So I get a pretty decent start here. You know, I managed to get into 3rd place quite quickly. I go for a move on 2nd place, but he comes over and tries to block me and weave me around. So I decide that, okay, I'll just go right around the outside of you all. And that's what I managed to do there. As you can see in the top right is the perspective from the guy who was on pole. I managed to get round the corner nicely, but he gets punted off. And then it's a little bit of a comedy of errors at the start for everybody else, which we'll have a look at in more detail in a little while. So yeah, I get a pretty nice start. This is a 5-lap race on Sebring. I managed to get a good start. I managed to get right around the outside of everybody, and that's pretty much it. I managed to win this race by quite a margin. But you'll see at the end there's also something a bit special that happens right at the end on the very last lap. So what I'll do in this video is show replays of the start. So what you're seeing now is a replay of the start from somebody else's perspective, but what you're seeing in the top right is kind of the live gameplay, if you like. So that's my race as it happens, as it goes on, and that will always be in the top right, showing my progress through the race, whilst we look at other replays of the start from different perspectives. So as you can see, it's a total mess really. This guy actually manages to get through most of it, does quite well and starts following me. He ends up finishing 2nd in this race behind me by a fair amount. But as you can see behind, it's not over yet. There's people messing up even then. But this guy who does finish in 2nd is a reasonably competent racer as well. He manages to do well, gets through all the mess, and then finishes in 2nd. Now the same can't be said for everybody else really. So as you can see, the guy in front of this person goes straight off right at the start, hits the wall. As you can see, just in front, that's me on the right, and I go right around the outside of all these guys, and that's how I managed to just stay out of a lot of trouble. Now this guy actually is the one who gets into the guy who's in pole, but he gets hit in the back, so it wasn't really his fault. He gets punted in the back, he then goes into the back of him, so it was whoever was behind him that caused all of that trouble, and we'll find out who that is later on. So yeah, this guy's pretty much right at the back now. Unfortunately for him, he's not had the best start really. He does manage to get past the guy who was in pole position, because he makes a mistake all on his own, and then as he's coming down, he's probably not expecting to see even more trouble at the end of this straight, but he just the same manages to sort of get through it all, and then manages to finish in 3rd place overall in the race. So basically it all happens at the start. As soon as the start's over and as soon as everyone's finished at the start, everybody keeps their positions after that. So we start with the guy in 2nd place, and as you can see, that's me behind. He's blocking and weaving, trying to stop me from getting around. I obviously just go flying right around the outside, and this is actually the guy that causes the trouble with the 2 guys in front. So he's obviously not a very good racer. He's not bothered. He just hits straight into the back of him. He was blocking and weaving past me, trying to just knock me off, not let me get past. So he's obviously not the most competent of racers, and not really bothered about hitting into anyone. He's sitting in a nice 3rd place at the minute, but then he does make a mistake, just gets on the grass, and then just causes trouble for everybody else. He's basically he must be the worst driver in this lobby really, because he's just causing a lot of trouble, making mistakes on his own, and making mistakes by hitting into other people as well. He narrowly misses him there, but he still manages to come through and come 4th in this race behind the other Ferrari and in front of the Audi that you just saw there. So we're on board with the Audi now, and you'll see what happens to the guy in front of us. Just goes straight into the wall for no reason and comes straight out. Now the guy in the Audi is in last place at the minute. He's just sort of like looking around, seeing what happens with everybody else, and in this situation you can probably tell that something's going to kick off in the first corner. He just waits for all that to happen really, gets through, and then he's just kind of minding his own business at this point, and that's what you need to be doing really on this kind of start. You've had a reasonable start, you've made up a few places, just mind your own business, see what happens. But as he's coming down here, he then gets caught up in the issues with the guy who, well, the idiot really, has to take to the grass, spins out, and then after everybody else has passed him, he ends up back down in 5th place and ends up finishing the race in 5th place. Now the guy who was in pole position, who you saw right at the start, he ends up finishing the race at the very back because he just makes all mistakes on his own all of the time. But yeah, there is actually one person that we've missed out at this point, and that is the guy who spun right at the start. Now we're on board with him. Now what happened to him? Where did he go? So as you can see, he just gets a bit of wheel spin at the start, catches the wall, and then inexplicably spins around. Now that's a pretty basic error, you know. I mean, you shouldn't really be hitting the wall at a start like this. It's a straight line. There's not really a lot to it. But we'll see what happens. Where did he filter into all of this? Because we didn't really see him in all of the other replays. So as you can see, he's coming down here, and you know, all of the incidents are already happened. He overtakes 2 people there. That got knocked off by the idiot, really, and then he's coming down here, and he also overtakes the 2 guys that go off down here. So we've kind of completely missed him out looking at the other replays. We didn't really realise that when all that was happening, he managed to come through, and he's actually in 3rd place at the moment, behind the other guy, the reasonably competent racer who managed to get through all the melee right at the start anyway. But it's not quite as simple for this guy who we're watching now, because he does actually, when he's coming onto his 2nd lap, he makes a mistake and then decides to just quit out. Obviously he's not having, it wasn't a comfortable 3rd position. I don't know why he decided to quit out, because it wasn't really that bad of a mistake. But I guess he just got too frustrated and decided to leave it there. So yeah, that's pretty much the start from everybody's perspective, and it was a pretty messy one. We following back now with the live footage, if you like. This is back to the race following me, and we're on to lap 4 at this point, and there's only 1 more lap to go. So basically, because this series is coming to an end, well, no, the Forza Motorsport 2 version of the series is coming to an end. I'll just sort of have a little bit of a chat of how I did on Forza 2. Basically, you know, I bought the game, and I had all of the achievements by I've had a look at the dates, and I had all of the achievements by the 18th of September, and that was all of the offline achievements. Then I decided to go online, and I had my first video, the first video in this series was my first win online, and that was on the 21st of September. And then it only took me about a month after that before I had this race, which is the last race, which was the 16th of October. So in that sort of short month-long period, I'd managed to do 116 races. I had 114 wins, 30 second places, 13 third places, and only 9 4th to 8th places. So I managed to keep that 4th to 8th place record down to below 10. So although I didn't race for very long online on Forza Motorsport 2, I was quite successful with it. I did get a lot of races in that short time, and I obviously managed to do enough to get the online achievement, which is still to this day one of my proudest achievements. So yeah, I really enjoyed Forza Motorsport 2, and obviously this will now go on to Forza Motorsport 3 on this series. I'm not sure when I'll do that. I'm not sure when I'll sort of bring Forza Motorsport 3 to this series and bring it back again. I'll probably have a little break from doing these videos again. But yeah, we'll definitely continue into Forza Motorsport 3 and Forza Motorsport 4 as well, because I raced on both of those games online. So, back to the action now, and we've caught up to the guy in 6th place, or last place, whichever it is. And this is basically me trying to put a lap on him. So we're on the last lap at this point, just trying to get a lap in. I'm guessing he doesn't see me when I go for these overtakes, because that's the only reasonable explanation of why he would do that. But yeah, basically right on the just before the main straight, I actually managed to get through because he makes his own mistake. And that's only the 2nd time in this series that I've actually managed to lap someone. As I did say in the first time, it is quite a rare thing to happen, lapping someone on this game, because of the short number of laps, and people are generally quite good. But that's another person who I've managed to get a lap on, and then we come across to win the race, and that is the last race on Forza Motorsport 2 that I ever did. So it was nice to finish it off with a win, nice to finish off this series with Forza Motorsport 2 with a win. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this series so far. Obviously it's not finished just yet, because we will go on to Forza Motorsport 3 and Forza Motorsport 4 at some point in the future. But yeah, you know, leave all your comments down below if you've enjoyed this series. You know, if you want to check out all the previous videos, there will be a link to all of the playlist in the description. Let me know what you think about this series. Do you want to see it on Forza Motorsport 3 and Forza Motorsport 4 as well? Leave all your likes down below as well. Let me know what you think. And thanks a lot for watching, really, everyone. You know, I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos. They aren't my most successful, but I appreciate the sort of the die-hard racing fans out there who enjoy watching these videos. And I enjoy doing them as well every now and again, just to mix it up a little bit and sort of go into my history of racing, if you like. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.